Rock Chat with Trey.
This interview I'm talking to Myra and Ashley from the band Plush. Hello and thanks for doing the interview.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Who are your influences?
For my influences personally, I started playing guitar first around 5 or 6, and the band that really influenced me to pick up a guitar was Aerosmith. Joe Perry, I just fell in love with Joe Perry and his guitar playing, and he really, really inspired me. As far as singing, my biggest influences are Amy Lee from Evanescence and Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm. And then I have a lot of other influences like the band Korn and Chris Daughtry and stuff like that. So those are my main influences, I would say.
Ashley?
Recently, I like a lot of David Bowie. I really love his style and his impact that he's had on music. I grew up listening to a lot of Led Zeppelin and the Beatles. And lately, I have also been listening to a lot of Thundercat, and he's one of my favorite bassists.
When did you start playing guitar or bass? And why did you choose the instruments you play?
I started playing guitar around 5 or 6, and my dad always had like 80s pop-up videos and like all these hair metal bands, playing on the TV with the music videos and stuff. And there was just something about the guitar players that I just thought was the coolest thing. And I always loved all the, hearing all the solos. And I just thought it was so cool. And that I think what was really cool was that it was so hands-on, like you literally holding something in your hands and you're making that sound come out. That was so fascinating to me. And that's really, I think, the thing that really inspired me, ultimately pick up a guitar.
I really agree with the last thing that Mariah said. It's cool that you can do something physically, but also like you think of it in your head. So obviously like it's a mental process too. So just having that. I started playing bass. I was in middle school after playing guitar for a while. So that's kind of just how I got into that because my guitar teacher was like, hey, why don't you try bass? So I just did it and now we're here.
How did the band form?
So I was doing like a solo thing before Plush formed, and it was cool and all, and we experienced a lot of really cool things. I love the guys in my old band, but we just all wanted different things at that point because, you get older and you become different and everybody has a reason and a season in your life. And right around that time, it just so happened that I discovered Brooke on Instagram, I believe. She's all over social media, and I was like, wow. I was like, this girl's freaking 16 and she plays drums like that. It was flabbergasting to me. And I was like, I really want to jam with this girl. And then I found out that she didn't live too far away from me, and our dads ended up getting in contact through a local venue that Brooke and I both played. And then we got together and the two of us jammed, and we just had instant chemistry and we wanted to make something out of it. And then Brooke introduced me to Ashley.
Yeah, so Brooke introduced me to Mariah, and I was honestly just so blown away by Mariah and her talent and her voice and her writing. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. So then like I think Lizzie Hale put out an Instagram ad which kind of got Bella into the picture, which is crazy.
How would you describe the band?
Good question. The first thing that I think of whenever I think about Plush is I would think just straight up real raw rock and roll. Just plug in and go. That's kind of how I would describe Plush. And beautiful. All the ladies are beautiful. But yeah, that's really what I think of when it comes down to what I think my band is about and what we do.
Yeah, I really agree with Mariah. The fact that we're so young and we have a bunch of different influences from so many different places. And I think that really contributes to our sound and reflects on us as people.
Tell me about the single Hate.
So Hate is about, I wrote the lyric. It's about heartbreak, obviously. And it's just, loving someone and they hurt you really badly and they betrayed you, kind of relationship gone bad thing. But, and you hate all these things about them and you hate the situation and you're left feeling hurt and it's painful. But at the end of the day, the thing that you hate the most is that you still love them. So that's where I was coming at lyrically with Hate.
How does the songwriting process happen?
Well, for this song, it was more like come up with lyrics and I'd have chord ideas or whatever, and I'd send it to the other girls and we just kind of sent things back and forth and everybody put their own flavors on stuff and it just came together really nicely.
Are you planning on releasing any more singles or albums this year?
We do have more singles ready to go. I don't think that we can give you an exact time frame, but you guys can definitely expect more music from us within the year for sure. And hopefully, who knows, hopefully an album.
What's the one thing you've missed since pandemic started?
Oh, definitely live music.
For sure.
Along with everything else.
right? I miss playing and going to see live music. I mean,
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really miss much just because I'm an introvert anyways. So like I like staying home. But yeah, I really miss live music and being able to travel and play gigs and stuff like that and meet some awesome people. I really miss that a lot.
Yeah, and living without that fear of just something going wrong. I feel like this has just taken us
Yeah.
all for such a spin.
For sure.
Who would you most like to see live again once the pandemic is over?
Lady Gaga, because my brother and I had tickets last summer to go see her because her new album had just came out in 2020. I have a giant Lady Gaga banner in my room. That album. I love Lady Gaga. She's my favorite artist. And we were supposed to go see her at Fenway in Boston, and the show got postponed until next summer. So I hope it happens this summer. I mean, I don't know if it will with everything going on, but I really hope it does because I really wanted to see her.
I've seen Lady Gaga before too, so I'm gonna actually have to go with the same answer because I think I saw her back in 2016 at the Roseland Ballroom in New York City right before it closed down. And I was so young,
my
so
gosh,
I feel like
the
I didn't get to
Joanne
fully
tour?
experience it. Which one?
Was it the Joanne tour?
It
Like,
might have been, or it might have been
Miss
Art
Million
Pop.
Reasons? You're
Art
so
Pop's
lucky.
one of my favorite albums too.
Yo, Art Pop, yes. I freaking love. See, Art Pop is like the OG Gaga fans. Only the OG Gaga fans like Art Pop.
And nobody liked it when it came out. Like, I don't know why. It's one of the best
They're
albums
whack.
I think ever. Yeah,
It's
seriously.
weird because it's weird, but like, who cares? I love how weird it is. That's what I love about it.
That's really what defines art, just uniqueness and individuality.
Right. Exactly. Sorry for the Gaga rant.
Myra, how nerve-wracking was it being on The Voice?
Oh my gosh, it was extremely nerve-wracking. I actually don't like, because people always ask me like, oh, how did it feel being up there on that stage? And I'm like, I don't remember because I was so nervous that I like blacked out. And funny because like one of the things that we do once we all have a team and we all meet each other and stuff like that, and we all get together in a room and just watch our audition before they put on TV, obviously, and like no effects, just dry mic, just the live feed into the system. And it was funny because like we're watching it and we're like, every single one of us was like, I really don't remember doing that. I don't remember the way I felt. So that's how nerve-wracking it was. Like I don't know. I remember when I walked out onto the stage, I was like, oh my gosh, I really hope I can stand up because my knees were shaking so bad.
Ashley, how was it doing backing vocals for Ace? How did it come about?
Wow, that happened, I think, when I was 6 or 7 years old. And it basically just came about on a random night. And it honestly, it was such an honor working with somebody who's so talented and respected. And he's great to work with. He's so personal. He's so friendly. And like my family, my dad and I consider him to be like close friends. So it's just really like, it's awesome.
Myra, you've got a large following on YouTube. What would your advice be for someone trying to get a following?
I guess my advice would be, I mean, obviously work hard. I mean, I know that's kind of obvious or like cliche or whatever, but really, I mean, you got to work if you want something. It doesn't just happen, especially nowadays, because there's so many talented people out there. You got to work hard and make your voice heard, be confident and stick with what you want and what you feel is right in your gut. Because if you don't want it, there's somebody out there that's going to work twice as hard as you and get it, but also I would say, just take constructive criticism too, because it really can be helpful. Like I know what it's like to be like the young kid whose family and your friends be like, oh, you're so amazing, you're so good. But sometimes it's good to hear constructive criticism because it really does help you in the long run. Not negativity. I'm just being like constructive criticism that's really meant to help. And also, just have perseverance, because there's going to be so many days where you wake up and you're just like, I don't want to do this right now. But if you have a show to play, people don't want to hear that. You can't just be like, oh, I'm not feeling it today, I'm not going to do this show. So yeah, I would say the main thing for me that have worked is follow your gut. Seriously, nothing good for me has ever happened when I went against my gut. Literally nothing. I can sit here and honestly say nothing good has come from not following my gut. 2, endurance. And 3, humility. You got to be humble. You have to.
You've done a number of covers for your YouTube pages. What was the hardest song to learn?
Hands down, the hardest song to learn was Never Let You Go by Steelheart. That was the hardest song, one of the hardest songs I've actually ever sang and probably ever will sing like Millie Janko. I think that's his name. He's amazing. I couldn't even believe it when I heard it. It was a fan request. And I was not expecting that when I looked up the song. I was like, holy crap. I was like, I don't even know if I can do this. That was by far the hardest song.
Ashley, what would be your dream guitar?
I have my dream bass. I think it's a Fender's 50s Vintera P bass, and I love it so much. It's the best playing bass that I've ever played, hands down. I swear by Fender products. They're just the best.
And it looks perfect on you. Like,
thank you.
I was like,
I love the color.
Do you take inspiration from female singers that have come before, or do you just focus on what's happening today?
Oh, 100%. I do. I take inspiration from, like I said, I love Amy Lee from Evanescence. She's my #1 vocal influence. You know, hearing her sing in Evanescence really was actually what really inspired me to just take singing and run with it and start getting into vocal training and knowing how to use my voice and, you know, stuff like that. And early on in my songwriting, Evanescence really influenced it too. Also, Lizzie Hale, you know, she's like the Joan Jett of our generation. So Lizzie Hale is a huge influence on me. And, you know, I do take some inspiration from Ann Wilson as well, from Heart. I totally do. So yeah, I totally have taken a lot of inspiration from female artists that have come before me.
Ashley, what's the best piece of advice you've been given?
The best piece of advice I've been given. Honestly, it's probably the most common advice that you will come by when learning an instrument, but it's just keep at it, keep practicing, don't ever stop, don't ever put your instrument down, keep your instrument in your hand at all times. Like if you're sitting on the couch watching TV, have your guitar or bass or whatever it is in your hand. Sit in front of the TV and play drums. Like the more that you have that instrument with you, the better you're going to get on it. Practice makes perfect, and also practice makes permanent.
Oh, I love that. Practice makes permanent. I mean, 100%. Like, you're totally right, Ashley. Like, literally, like when I got my first guitar, like my cheap little $20 Target guitar, I took that damn thing everywhere.
Yes.
I took it down to like Maryland when I would go visit my grandparents. Like, I took that thing freaking everywhere. It like became my best friend.
Yeah, that's what it does.
100%. That's awesome advice.
Where can people get the single Hate?
Yeah, so Hate is available on all streaming platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. I guess it's the same thing as Apple Music. YouTube, Google Play, Amazon, I believe.
People want to follow you. What are your social media links?
So my social media is just at Mariah Formica, MoriahFormica, and that's the handle across the board on all social media platforms. And our band social media handle is Plush Rocks.
My Instagram is at Ashley Supa. My Facebook is Ashley Supa, and my Twitter is at Supa Ashley, because the name Ashley Supa was already taken by me when I was like 7.
Plush released a single Hate on February 9th, 2021, and I'd like to thank Moira and Ashley for joining me for this interview.
Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for the support. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.